Greetings, bloggers, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty. Here at you again this week with another edition of this week's vlog. It's a little early this week. I've taken some mental health time for me. Yesterday, that being Wednesday, and today is Thursday, which is my normal day off. But just taking some time to reflect and work on things personally, and coming out a lot better today than what I was yesterday. Had some tough times getting through the day yesterday, but we're here today and we're moving forward and we're looking optimistically at the future as compared to what we were yesterday. Yesterday, Valentine's Day is sometimes hard because I am single and I choose to be single, and that's, the battle that I find in being lonely. I'm not lonely all the time, and there's times that I am, and we manage our way through that. Um, but that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is the dedication of independence. And what that means to me is how dedicated I can be to having my independence and keeping my independence in a place that otherwise it never it seemed impossible 2 decades ago. And to say that almost 2 decades ago, I was looking at a place to live for the first time, but I didn't feel that I was ready. A decade later, I looked again and I didn't feel it was ready. And then, about 5 years ago, I started the hunt and I found it, and it wasn't successful for the first place wasn't successful, but I got here where I am for the past over 3 years, and I'm doing quite well. But it's taken a long time to get quite well and to be where I am excelling and I am doing well. It's a constant battle. It's an everyday battle for myself, where to go, how to find, and keep going, keep that inertia going, and knowing that you have to keep going no matter how hard or how challenging that it may be, or how rough your day may be. You have to keep going and you have to keep going strong. As many of you know, when I talk about my battles, one of my biggest battles has been since independence as being dedicated to following my medication regimen. And that's something I've not always been totally honest about throughout the course of the 5 years. And even I've done less than for last year. And I broke down at the end into a manic episode. And while I still knew I needed medicine, it took me until a few weeks ago to understand the necessity of having it all the time. And now that I see that I'm having it all the time, I have other struggles that I have to fight with, which is staying awake through the day and not wanting to sleep, not wanting to eat continually, and keeping busy all day. Now, some say maybe keeping busy is not healthy, but for me, keeping busy or at least keeping engaged in something is what helps me. Also, keeping dedicated to independence is um, very important because I know how greatly my independence is, and I know how it could be, with if I didn't care for myself. And I finally grasp it and I finally understand that if I didn't care for myself, how that could be just wiped away and how I could lose everything and be, in the hospital or not care for myself. And I was there nearly there in 2020, and I don't ever want to go back to that part of life again. And even as routines have changed in the past 3 months, it's knowing that I have to get into these new routines and get settled with them and work with them to see how they actually are working and how that if medicine may affect me and how it may be a part of what is a problem or maybe not a problem, or maybe just because I have been teeter-tottering with it for so long that maybe I just need to stay steady for some time and actually see how it goes and understand how that may work out for me and how that may, how it may actually help. And that maybe because I got other kinks in my system worked out, that maybe these other things that have been battling me, may not be, or, we don't know. We have no idea what the future may be. But for now, we just do what we need to do and understand and flow with what we need to do and be the best person that we can be. it's not easy to be self-disciplined and dedicated to have to do things that are, you have to do. It could be easy to just push a few buttons and food be here, or push or not to care for things. But I've been in that element and I don't like it. And it's not very healthy for me financially, and it's not very healthy for me in many other ways. So knowing that I can actually get under control and have me be the person that I want to be, and that things like medication help me get to that point. Now, I want to say medication is not for everybody, but for me, it has been proven to work, and I have to actually see that it actually does work, and it helps keep me dedicated to what I need to do. And it can be hard to admit that sometimes, but it is a reality, and it is a part of life that I need to understand and realize that is a part of me. And regardless or not if I want to think about that way, and once however much I want to deny it, it's what keeps me going and navigating in a world that is not always built for my needs. It can be challenging, yes, it can be hard to understand, but with medication, it helps make things go a lot more smoother and make things go a lot more better. It's also part of understanding that, hey, you got to stop doing what you want to do and transition and put those executive functioning skills into something that you want to. I struggle with executive function, and that's not always easy to admit either. It's hard for me to transition from one task to another, especially if it is something that is not willing or not wanting to be a part of my life. It can be hard. It can be hard to understand and accept that, there's things in life that I just don't want to do, like clean the bathroom or clean the kitchen or just clean the whole house, period, or do laundry. Those things can be hard. But within time, I've worked at becoming more regimented in them and making them part of a habit. Like laundry is on the weekends. Today is Thursday, so I'm off today. So that is, I tidy up the apartment and I make it look nice for me because, I might have a visitor come over or something. But it's always being at your best self and using your best judgment when doing that. It's also using your best judgment when doing anything as an adult who is living independently, regardless of your neurotype or not. It is being the person that you want to be, but within limits. Is knowing that you only have so much you can work with, but you have to work at being dead for us, regardless of with autistic neuro, with being neurodivergent. It can be hard for us to have the skill set and the realization and the understanding of what it takes to be independent. Sometimes it can be harder for us. Sometimes it can mean that we have to ask for help, and there's no shame in that. If we have to ask for help, there's absolutely no shame in that. But for me, for the most part, I feel I can do it on my own. But I sometimes need, that little bit of extra time and extra prompting. And thankfully I have family and support, a great support system for me to get through things. And last year when I had my manic episode, I was able to stay on track, not go into the hospital, not have any issues, and get back on track within my own way and my own being. And I know I need to do that because there's many things this year that are requiring my full attention and my full effort to get to the point where I need to be on my best A game. And to be my best A game, that means I have to do what I have to do to be one awesome human being. And that means go to sleep on time, take my medicine, keep that regimen going and keep that pattern going. And once you keep that pattern going, it becomes a habit. And that's what I'm trying to do every single day. It's not easy, and sometimes it's an inner battle every evening as to whether to go to bed or whether to take that medicine. But eventually I get tired and I know I have to go to sleep. So if I'm gonna do it the right way, might as well do it the right way and not do it half crooked and not take care of myself. Whereas, if I know I'm going to sleep, do it the right way, get a great amount of sleep and be able to function in a world that is able for me to be able to. And it's so much of a difference. And sometimes it's hard to see that. Sometimes you want to be miserable and irritable, and you want to think about how the world has done you wrong, or how you can't do this and how you can't do that. but sometimes you have to be patient with yourself and give yourself grace and know that whatever battle you're fighting, eventually it'll work out for you, and that you need to give yourself credit for how far you've came in this world and what you have to do in life to get back on track. And sometimes it's harder to do things than what you think it is, but you need to be patient with yourself and be kind to yourself too, because it's so hard to not be kind to yourself. And it's so easy just to give in to say, oh, I'm this, or I'm not dedicated to this, or I'm just gonna let this go, or I'm just not worth anything. But there was a part of me this morning when I was cleaning my apartment that I thought, there's some it looks nice for a change. And if I keep that up and I keep that going, maybe that's what it'll be. Maybe, it'll look nice in the future, and maybe, it'll keep up and keep going. And I'm hoping to do that. But it takes time and it takes patience and it takes, just being kind to yourself and understanding, you know, what what does that what does that look like for you? Um, what does that look like? What does being independent look like for you? But what does that routine of that day look for you? And in the last few weeks, last few months, exactly, last couple months, that meant I had to have an established bedtime every day for the first time in a very long time after being so off course with my medicine. And what does that look like? And, how does that work out for me? And, having to make sure that I get adequate sleep so that I'm up in the morning and ready to go when that bus gets here. It means a lot, but I do it. And the last few weeks I've been doing that quite well, and I'm very proud of myself for doing that. Sometimes it's good to be proud of yourself because it takes a lot of effort sometimes to do those things and make those things work for you. It's not easy. I won't say that it isn't, but you have to can't be kind and give yourself grace when you do it, because if you're hard on yourself or you blame others for having to do things like that, it just makes it a whole lot worse. And you don't want to make it that way for yourself. You want to be kind and gentle to yourself. Change is hard, and it's sometimes we need extra prompts and extra care because we deal with executive functioning issues and we can't deal with, the way things go. And it's always not easy to understand and grasp what reality really is for us. That reality is sometimes we have to push ourselves farther than what we think, and we have to do things that we don't want to do. But reality is that we have to do them if we want to live the life we want. And that too is a dedication of independence, because if you have to do things like go to work or go to program just so you keep your mind going or your social focus going, even though it's not social skills or whatever you may think it may be, it is in turn the way that you are able to get your mind going. And it means sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do, and that's part of every human being. Every human being doesn't want to, I'm sure, doesn't want to wash clothes or doesn't want to, or wash bed sheets or wash anything. And that for a long time took a lot of time for me to be happy and to be satisfied about and be sit- be okay with and be accept that that's part of living. It's part of cleaning up. It's part of even cleaning up or cooking and cleaning up and also, cleaning linens and cleaning bathroom and, all those things. It takes a lot of work and a lot of energy to be put into that and to understand where that comes from and understand how hard it is. But then when you have it and you know you need it and you know you need to keep it and you have to know the steps that are required for you to put in that effort to do it. And then, there are things that you have to do in the meanwhile, in that whole cycle of having a routine and caring for yourself, take care of your mental health and physical health, then those are the things also that you need to keep in mind and keep going and keep doing every single time, because they are important as well. It can be hard to not recognize that, but for me, it took the longest time. I just kept not believing in myself and not seeing the benefits of things like medicine and not seeing the benefits of how I feel when it's not as good as it may seem to be. but in reality, it is good and it is a good thing. And sometimes it's hard to see that and understand where that may go or what that may be or what that may do for me. But, in the end, I know I'm doing the right thing and I'm going to care for myself and it's going to be okay and I'm going to be fine for it. It just needs, I have to be kind to myself and have some patience and some understanding. But I am dedicated to living on my own. I'm dedicated to making this one of the best years in the past half decade that have been because I need to be. There's so many things going on that I need to be there. And when people tell me I look good, it's because I'm caring for myself in the way that I need to. I'm getting the rest. I'm taking the medicine. I'm doing all of those things. And there are so many people out there that are making a difference in my life, that I'm making a difference in their lives that I may not even ever know. And it's not me tooting my own horn. It's just saying how dependent it is for me to be dedicated to my independence and dedicated to caring for myself. That there is such a need and such a determination to do that because it takes dedication, it takes determination, it takes dedication and determination and being dedicated to that and understanding how valuable independence is for me as a person who has multiple challenges, including being on the autism spectrum, what that feels like, how important that is, and how people look up to me and value me as a human being for once, and see that I've done all these hoops and I've jumped through every hoop imaginable, and the worst has happened, and there's been many things that haven't been good. But there's silver linings and things too, and there's ability to see the goodness of my heart come out and see that the willingness and the empowerment that I am doing by doing the work that is needed and continuing my legacy going. And that's what it's all about. It's what it's all about. This independence, I got to do it for me, but I also know that I got to care for myself. And I got to care for myself in a way that is, in a way, very much, it is very much in a way that I know I need to care for myself. I just know I need to. And I know if I get off course, then people realize it. And then there's concern, and then I brush it off and I get upset. And that cycle just repeats itself of negative behavior and wrong and inappropriate behavior. It just gets into that wrong place. And I don't like going there. I don't like going there. So I like this so much better. And even though at times I may be irritable or maybe crappy, but there's parts of me that I know it's the right thing, and I have to fight the negatives in life and be the positive and be the change and do what I need to do to dedicate myself to making my independence better, including getting on here and doing a podcast on it because it matters to me. And independence does matter because I'm grateful for it every morning that my feet hit the floor. I'm grateful for the home I have and the opportunity I had to get it because it wasn't always promised to me. And I was in a very desperate situation. And somebody saw that and made me got this home for me. It may not be much, but it's mine. Gosh darn it. And I love it. So I'm dedicated to it. Yes, I'm dedicated to it. And that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Remember to take care of yourselves and each other today. As always, be sure to like and subscribe on this video. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Pinterest at Dustin's Dynasty. Follow me on the web. That web address is dustinsdynastyusa.com. I'm on Linktree. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. Again, I want to thank you for listening. Be sure to take care of yourselves today and be kind to each other and yourself. Stay safe out there, my friends, this weekend, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.